In today's episode, we're going to be talking about diet versus exercise versus both at the same time for weight loss. I'm also going to touch on the sensitive subject of weight loss and body shaming and the problems with BMI, body mass index, as a measure of fitness. How much do those matter? How can we take that into context of our overall health? How do we know when and if a change might be warranted in our health? And I'm going to do that with the power of research. Hey, thanks for stopping by. My name is Anthony Davis. This is Shapeshift Wellness, the channel that uses evidence and research to explore fitness, yoga, and meditation and other tools that we can use to take our health into our own hands. If you're new here, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell so that you get notified when I release future videos, and stick around to the end of the video because although this article does not specifically talk about yoga for weight loss, I will make a few points about yoga and weight loss at the end of the video. So today we've got a Cochrane review. These guys are the gold standard for systematic reviews and meta-analyses. They are absolutely the best source of review information and academic research. So they're looking at exercise for overweight or obesity. This is a review. Let's get to it. So this is a systematic review of randomized controlled trials, and this is going to be assessing people who are using exercise and other interventions such as diet to achieve the goal of weight loss. They did not just look at weight loss, however, because just weight, in other words, pounds on a scale, is not necessarily the most important thing to look at with regards to your health. We were looking at 43 studies, actually 41 after the inclusion criteria, and 3,476 participants. So we have a large sample. This is why reviews are great. We're looking at a lot of people who have tried to use exercise or a change in their diet or both at the same time in order to lose weight and change their blood panel, so change their cholesterol levels and fasting glucose levels like blood sugar as well. So these are important, and blood pressure as well. So we're not just looking at weight, we're looking at a lot of genuinely important biomarkers for your health. So I want to start off by just addressing the elephant in the room, that is weight loss important? I know there is a lot of attention given to this subject now, and we are having a lot of public discourse about fat shaming, fat acceptance, and body shaming, these kinds of things that are very important. I want to emphasize and disclaim at the beginning of this article, because we are talking about weight loss and we are talking about when and why it might be important. I want to emphasize that no matter what your goals are, no matter what you and your doctor are working on, if you're working on weight loss, if that's an outcome that's important to you, that no matter what, in a process like that, even when that is your goal, there's absolutely no reason that a person should be shaming you or making you feel inferior as a human being, or that you're a bad person for having a certain weight on a scale. That is not okay. So I just want to make that absolutely clear. I also want to make it clear that based on the research, we know that things like body mass index, waist to hip ratio, circumference, and other indexes of weight and body lipids are strongly correlated with cardiovascular risk factors and risk factors for mortality and other serious systemic diseases. So quoting from the article, overweight and obesity are a major public health problem. Increased consumption of more energy-dense, nutrient-poor foods with high levels of sugar and saturated fats, combined with reduced physical activity, have led to the increase in prevalence. And this is important. Overweight and obesity pose a major risk for serious chronic diseases, including type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and stroke, and certain forms of cancer. So yes, being overweight, being obese is a risk to many people's health. It is not determinant of every person's health, but in general, for most people, it can be a warning sign that there might be other things lurking beneath the surface in your physiology that need attention and care. But you don't have to necessarily exercise and go to the gym and intentionally just get that workout in. You can just do activities that are meaningful to you, but that are somewhat active. So one study here was looking at both vigorous and non-vigorous leisure activities, and they found that people who were just habitually more active in their life, they didn't necessarily go to the gym, but they were just active in their daily life. They maybe liked going on hikes, or they were doing other physical activities, playing with their kids, whatever it was, and they were found to have a lower body weight. So you don't have to prescribe to the, I'm going to go to the gym all the time. You can just do things that are meaningful to you. There is a lot of debate as to whether exercise works or not for weight loss. The main argument that I've heard is that exercise is not effective for weight loss because when you start exercising, you get more hungry and therefore you eat more, and it offsets the calorie deficit that you achieved through the exercise. So in other words, yeah, you're exercising, you're burning some more calories, but it's going to make you more hungry, then you're going to overeat even more, and so essentially it does nothing for you. As the article points out, however, even if that's true, even if exercise does not result in weight loss, it confers significant health benefits to people who are overweight and have obesity because look, their blood lipid profiles are associated with increased risk of coronary heart disease and are common metabolic feature of obesity. And if we keep going, exercise with or without weight loss. So even if you're exercising and you're not losing weight and you're really frustrated, right? That's okay. That's okay. You're still doing something good for your body. You're still really doing something that matters because exercise, even without weight loss, improves plasma lipoprotein status, in particular, increasing high density lipoproteins, therefore may be particular benefit to people who are abdominally obese, and even if no weight loss happens through exercise. That's important. By the way, the lipoproteins, that's like your cholesterol, that's your LDL, HDL, etc. So it improves that. Not only that, but it improves blood pressure. So here we go, we've got blood pressure. And we see that people who engaged in regular vigorous leisure activities had 33% lower risk of developing hypertension. That's a lot. That's great. Again, these are things that even if you don't lose weight, you get these benefits. So it's good to focus on these things. They also had a 41% reduction in mortality. 41% reduction in mortality. You're 41% less likely to die from coronary heart disease in a period of 20 years if you are active on a regular basis. That's pretty amazing. That's very important. On the frontier of health, we also have diet and exercise combined with psychological interventions, and that these can also provide a powerful weight loss program. So we're thinking outside the box. We're realizing that your health is not just about exercise. It's also, you got to account for the person's mental health. This is a biopsychosocial phenomenon. One current complaint with exercise is that weight loss in exercise programs is usually small. That's between 2 to 7 kilograms, which is between 4.4 and 15.4 pounds. So we're making small improvements with exercise. A couple things we need to keep in mind with that is that one of the reasons you might have a small, you might not be getting the results you want with exercise as a weight loss program is because as you exercise, you also put on body mass in terms of muscle mass, which is heavier, denser. And so pounds on a scale is not representative of the actual fat tissue, the adipose tissue that is being lost. So the main objective of this study was to affect the efficacy of exercise for losing weight, but they also were comparing a bunch of trials that looked at exercise and or diet changes. We were measuring weight basically here. And then we were measuring blood lipids and glucose and blood pressure there. The timing of these programs, all the programs were at least 3 months, if not longer. They all used a placebo. They compared exercise to a placebo or another non-drug option for weight loss. And as a reminder, we're looking at a sample size of 3,476 people over 41 different trials. You're probably wondering, how did they exercise? Well, here are some of the exercises that we saw. We saw walking, cycle ergometry, which is kind of like an exercise bicycle, jogging, weightlifting, aerobics, treadmill exercises, stair stepping, dancing, ball games, calisthenics, rowing, and aqua jogging. So the point is they used a whole ton of different exercises to see if they were working. And we'll look at a trend of categorizing these exercises into basically high intensity or low intensity or moderate intensity. So we're looking at basically the intensity of the exercise to see if intensity makes a difference. If you do a more intense workout, do you lose more weight? The frequency with which they were exercising 3 to 5 days a week for an average of about 45 minutes. When they were comparing exercise to diet, they compared exercise to a low-calorie diet, so eating less food, and they also compared exercise to a low-fat diet. They also compared exercise to a low-fat and a low-calorie diet. And 17 different trials compared exercise in combination with a diet or to diet alone as weight loss interventions. As a reminder, we're trying to look at if exercise and diet affect the following things: weight, blood pressure again, because you've got both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, cholesterol, and serum triglycerides, also HDL, which we sometimes talk about as quote unquote good cholesterol, also blood sugar or serum glucose. So what did they find? Well, a brief summary of the findings is that exercise has a positive effect on body weight in people who are overweight and have obesity. Although exercise alone improved weight loss only marginally compared with no treatment in this study, when combined with dietary interventions, the amount of weight loss achieved with exercise increased substantially. These findings are consistent with previous reviews. That is important, by the way. It's important that these findings are the same as previous reviews. So this is not new information. And the main point there is that yes, exercise can reduce weight, but if you work on both exercise and you work on diet at the same time, you're going to have much better results. We would also like to know, does it matter how intense your exercise is? And yes, they found that the results of this study support the hypothesis that vigorous activity is more effective than moderate or light intensity exercise in reducing weight loss. So essentially, if you have a harder workout, if you exercise more intensely, you are going to burn more calories and you are going to lose more weight. All of this said, it should be noted that if you were only to do one, only diet or only exercise, this is, by the way, consistent with a lot of other research. Diet, it turns out, is a more effective way of just losing pounds on a scale. So if your goal is just to reduce body fat, then diet is the most effective way of doing that when you compare it to exercise. I'll remind you, however, that even if you don't lose weight and you're exercising, you still have a lot of really wonderful benefits in improving your cholesterol levels, your blood sugar levels, your blood pressure, and other cardiovascular risk factors. So exercise, whether you lose weight or not, is super important. So I've got a couple of notes here. Just up at the top is essentially, that saying again that diet was more effective than exercise. And I just had this note of, is weight all that matters? Are we just looking to lose pounds on a scale? And no. And this is where the discussion about body fat and fat shaming and body shaming is so important, because if we are reducing your health to a snap judgment based on what I can see with my eyeballs, and I can see that you look a certain way, then I am inappropriately assessing a lot of things, I'm probably judging you based on what I think your health is like, what I think your motivation or lack of motivation or lifestyle is. I'm judging you as a person. That's just stupid and mean and unacceptable. So if we're looking at weight alone as an outcome measure, as something to measure as like, is this person healthy or not healthy? Well, let's look at their weight. No, that's not good enough. We need to dive deeper. Sometimes, yes, we can look at weight, pounds on a scale, and we can use that as an indication that it might be important to look closer. But then the thing that would be you try to change, you don't try to change the person's weight. You don't try to necessarily change the fact that they have adipose tissue or fat, but we would instead try to improve their blood lipids, because the blood lipids are the thing that matters. The blood sugar, that's the thing that matters. The blood pressure, that's the thing that matters. So it's not actually about the weight. The weight can indicate that there may or may not be underlying issues that are important to resolve. But until you look closer, you don't know. And frankly, the only person who's going to know that, their cholesterol levels, blood sugar, blood pressure, etc., the only person that's going to know that is them and their doctor. So if you're just a person on the street and you're looking, oh, that person is overweight, they're a bad person and they're unhealthy, well, you have no idea. So you can just shut the fuck up about it. Also, I'm ranting here a little bit. Body mass index. Body mass index, same thing. We're using this scale to determine if a person is healthy or not. Again, it's more of a screen. It's more of a way of quickly saying, hey, this person might be at risk. Let's look closer. But if you just use body mass index alone, there are a lot of ways that a person can have a really high body mass index and be very, very healthy. The most obvious example is a person who weightlifts a lot. They're very muscular. They're going to have an extremely high body mass index, but of course that person is very healthy. There are also genetic anomalies that will make it very, very hard to catabolize fat, in other words, to break down fat. And so a person could theoretically have a lot of fat tissue on their body, and yet their underlying chemistry, their underlying physiology is actually quite healthy. So those are just examples. That means that some people can have a high body mass index and be healthy. However, body mass index is still valuable if it's only used as a general screen that allows you to know, hey, maybe I can, given the context here, use this to inform that maybe I should dive a little deeper and look beneath the surface. In other words, we need to stop being so superficial. It's not about the weight, it's about the physiology and the risk. All right, again with exercise intensity, we just found again that high intensity exercise was better at improving your blood sugar than low intensity exercise. So to sum this all up, this was a lot to take in all at once, so let's just sum this up here. I'll quote from the article. This review suggests that exercise is an effective weight loss intervention, particularly when combined with dietary interventions. Exercise is also an effective intervention for improving a range of secondary outcomes like blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, etc., even when weight loss does not occur. So the main point here is, should you do exercise or should you work on your diet if your goal is to lose weight? Well, I would argue that, first of all, I don't think that you should value weight loss alone as a primary outcome of your health. And so you want to look beneath the surface. So if your goal is just to lose weight, then exercise and diet both work. Exercise and diet at the same time work the best. But if you could only pick one, then diet would work better than exercise. But the real truth of this is that I don't think it would be smart to not work on exercise and just do diet, because exercise has so many other benefits. Even if it doesn't make huge improvements in weight loss, it does make huge improvements in other way more important outcomes for your overall health. So I would really encourage you, regardless of how exercise affects pounds on the scale, exercise is absolutely an important component of a weight loss or a journey towards better health. Okay. Whew. That was a lot. I'll make this quick because this is getting to be a long video. So what about yoga? I promised you that I would talk about yoga at the end of this. So the main point I want to make here is because I talk about this when people bring up weight loss and yoga. First of all, some people believe that you should go to hot yoga classes because you are sweating it out and that's going to help you lose weight. Well, yes, if you sweat enough, if you get on a scale before a hot yoga class and then you get on a scale after hot yoga class, you are less heavy, but it's because you lost a lot of water and you are dehydrated. So is that what your goal is, or is it to lose adipose tissue, fat tissue? So do you need hot yoga for weight loss? No, definitely not. Now, the interesting thing is that of all the above studies, we did not see a single study that looked at yoga specifically for weight loss. Now, I did recently research a bunch of studies that looked at yoga for weight loss. Surprisingly, some of them were effective, but they were extremely biased studies and extremely limited in their scope. So I don't trust the results of those, although I will make a video on them. The thing that we can say, however, I think, based on this article, the one thing that was very clear is that the more intense the exercise, the more likely you are to lose weight. So if your goal is weight loss and you want to do it by doing yoga, then, and this just makes intuitive sense, you're going to have to do the most intense yoga class you can. The more intense the yoga class, the more your muscles burn, the more that you're shaken, all of that stuff is going to lead to more weight loss. It would be better if you could do a yoga class that also involved some kind of vigorous, like jumping types of exercises, strength push-ups, those kinds of things. Not just long holds, but something that's going to get your heart rate up. That would be even better. But now we're really blurring the lines between what is yoga and what is just calisthenic exercise. And I know yoga was already blurring those lines a long time ago when it, formed modern postural yoga, but that's another conversation. So can yoga be helpful in weight loss? Well, we did see that even just vigorous leisure activities and even just walking could help with weight loss. So those are not high intensity exercises. Those are like low to moderate intensity exercises. And they did help a little bit with weight loss. So what I would suggest is this, that if yoga helps at all with weight loss, it's going to help more if you do a vigorous yoga class. It's going to help more if you get your heart rate up. It's going to help more if you combine it with a healthy diet. And frankly, regardless of whether yoga actually helps you shed pounds on a scale, it probably, because it's exercise in general, it probably will help you improve other aspects of your health. So as you lose weight through diet, if you're doing that as your primary means of losing weight, then yoga can help you on that journey by reducing stress, helping you to manage that, become self-reflective, etc., etc. So yoga can help, I think, on the journey. I don't think that physiologically it's very likely to have a dramatic impact on actually burning and losing fat weight. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. Feel free to comment with suggestions for future videos, and I'll see you in the next episode.